This is RPMMO Radio.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
A podcast all about role-playing and MMORPGs.
I like what you got. Good job.
With your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Sid, Jazz, Strafe, and Kishmas.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Hello, role players. How's everybody doing out there? Appreciate you tuning in to RP MMO Radio, episode 45, Head Cannon Spoilers. There will be spoilers ahead, and we will blow up your cannons with your head inside them as we spoil them. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, and with me, as always, is Sib and Strafe. Jazz is off right now.
Hey, folks, she is super late, super tardy.
She's out driving the little ones.
She's hurting kids.
Yeah, she's out driving her kids around, and she'll be with us probably 10, 15 minutes.
Can you imagine the profanities going off in the car, bro?
Oh, yeah, she was not thrilled with... I'm sure we'll hear all about it. She was not happy. She loves her children to a point. You can quote me on that when you listen to the episode later. Anyway, so Kishmas, of course, unfortunately, he probably won't make it. He lost a bet and had to go toe-to-toe with Mike Tyson this weekend, and he is unfortunately in a coma. We may lose him. It's touch and go.
I heard he was fighting the Joker, and he got some laughing gas in the face.
Yeah, that was what made him lose the bet to fight Mike Tyson. He was not in a good. I think he forgot, and I think he was fighting Tyson Chicken, which, I mean, I like to pound those too, but for entirely different reasons, because they're delicious. But yeah, he probably won't be around. What'd you say, woman?
Nothing.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't say nothing, Mr. J.
Yeah, remember that. I wish that was more. I was just so much true more often. Just, oh man, that would be heavenly.
Just watch out for that big hammer, bro. I'm just saying.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So
speaking of tardy one.
That's
yes,
right.
yes,
hey,
yes.
There she is.
Hey,
you are late.
She's not late.
She's
just
early.
Fashionably
late.
On
late?
time.
I like to think that
fashionably
she's just early for next episode.
Something like that. Yeah. I didn't kill him either, so.
Well, that's good. It's okay to leave a few bruises, though.
Pay up, boys. Pay up, boys. You had a big one on.
What was the bet?
But I said she wouldn't kill her kids, and you said she would.
I said nothing. I do not recall this. I said the profanities in that car were probably legendary.
Oh,
No.
yes, they were, and I had to apologize because I lost my temper, and then I had to apologize. for
Jazz,
losing
lose
my
her cool?
temper.
No.
Yeah,
No.
me never.
No.
Yeah,
Last minute.
Hey, Jazz. I totally understand it. It's a mom thing.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, it's
I lost my
amazing
shit.
how much
It
you
was-
can both love and hate a thing at the same instant.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't understand that.
It's a good thing they're
Because
so damn cute. Otherwise, the human as a whole would just be gone.
They just die out.
We'd be like,
the kids
yeah,
were killed.
we'd all see like one of our friends with one and be like, yeah, maybe we should just write this whole thing off as a bad idea. Yeah. let the aliens have it. That way they don't have to go to war. They could just have our resources when they get here. It'll be good for them. So, of course, we do this every Saturday, 7 Central. And if you're listening right now live, you are doing it at twitch.tv/RPMRadio. And if you're not, you're probably listening to it at Apple Podcast, Android, Podcast App, Spotify, Podbean, pretty much anywhere podcasts can be downloaded. We are there. And if we're not, I don't know, look somewhere else. Clearly, we're everywhere else. It's just...
We should be there.
Just common damn sense. If you don't see it in one place, go to another one. Jeez. I mean, do I have to do all your thinking for you?
If you seek, you shall find.
Yeah, they wrote a book based around something like that. There was the Bible, is what they called it. Yeah, the Bible.
Yeah.
It'll be the Bible. We can also build a baseball field, and a legendary ghost will show up. So I'm just saying.
Legendary ghost.
Legendary ghost.
Is he raid tier? I don't think
that
that's
was
what I
rough.
want to fight. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like it does in our MMOs. Or a Final Fantasy game where, what is it, half of them where they're, killing a god or god of some kind. Never.
I was going for Field of Dreams, but yeah.
That one works. See, I was going for the MMO thing because that's where I always go to because I'm a
Right on.
giant fucking nerd. So, of course, we also have a Patreon, and I want to give a special shout-out to our Patreon donors, every single one of you, including our Raid Boss level guys, That Guy Lazit, and the Truth Bob. If you want to be as cool, good-looking, and get all the bitches or men, I don't judge, as they do, go to patreon.com/RPMMOradio. Throw us a couple bucks, helps keep the show going, helps us do things that, like the great arts that we got from Yunfei. Yeah, because it's good. Unfortunately, the hack job of the guy that put them all together takes away slightly from that, but we forgive him because he tried his best.
No.
Oh, is that what we want to
No,
say?
There's
Okay.
no forgiveness there. None.
He even spent the money to reactivate fucking Photoshop for a single month. Because I really, really hate the way Photoshop does shit now.
On a random note, the Truth Bob, I saw him lurking around in servants, and I had to I was saying silently on my computer, the Truth Bob!
The Truth
Bob.
That's right, yeah. He's a high ordinary. He's important in our guild. He's really important. He's a big guy.
I have to say, the Truth Bob and Austere are both still my favorites.
Ooh.
They're still Sib's favorites. You
That
guys are my
sounds-
favorite.
Sounds like a
Sib.
challenge. Sounds like a challenge.
They just want hot Jessica. We know what's really up.
Mm-hmm. They just want to put that bag over your orc volley and then go to...
Oh.
Actually, no. Then they'd be like, yeah, she's still an orc. She's filthy, filthy, dirty Enwa. Let's
Oh,
You know
for
what?
shame.
let's take the
You
head
know
off.
what? You know what they'd say?
Mm-hmm. What?
They'd see Volley and they'd be like, she's still hot. Even though she's an orc, she's still hot.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Pretty hot
That's
orc,
what I
I'm just
get.
saying.
That's what I get all the time.
No.
You make an orc to scare the guys away, doesn't work.
No, we're very, very sad
As
and
long as
desperate creatures.
I think as long as they have boobs,
Oh, yeah.
you're a target. It's like those boobs are like a target. It's like
Works for me.
boobs.
That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, too, if you're on Apple Podcast or iTunes or whatever the hell they call it now, go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe. Same thing over at patreon.com/RPMMradio. Follow us, subscribe to us, do all that stuff so that you can watch the show live on Saturdays if you want to. Participate, we'll talk to you. And of course, very few do this, but we are a call-in show. rpmmradio.com/discord. Just join our Discord channel and throw yourself in the caller waiting room. If you want to give us some details on what you're going to call, do that in the caller details area. Just give us a quick blurb like, I want to talk about Pepsi. Previous conversation. Whatever. So
We got no 80s cafe, so we can't have Pepsi Perfect, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, but we have Crystal Pepsi, though, right? I mean, that's one of my favorites. We still have...
It's also gone again.
Wait, what? Okay, all right. Pepsi One. How about that? Is that...
That one's gone too.
I'm a Coke guy, so I don't know anything other than
Okay,
I like Crystal Pepsi.
Oh, I know my other favorite before Crystal, Clear Pepsi. That was a really good one. I loved that. Could we have that on the show?
No, it's dead.
It's okay. Well, I mean, it seems like everything I like dies.
No comment.
I'm feeling a little nervous over here. I'm feeling a little nervous.
Everything I like dies eventually, often in its sleep for no apparent reason.
Oh, jeez.
You guys all hear this, right?
Right, Cindy. So you should come see me on a fishing trip next weekend. I'm just saying.
Yeah, go see him on the fishing trip. By the way, Strafe, the money's wire transfer is already ready to go.
Yeah. So.
No, I'm good.
Right out in the middle of the ocean where nobody can hear you scream. Right? I love the ocean. Ocean's beautiful, especially this time of year. So, enough of that silliness because honestly, it's just getting creepy and it's going to make it really hard for the insurance people not to listen to this episode and pay out. So, with that, what have we been doing in roleplay? And luckily,
I know.
It worked out. It worked out. Yeah, Yunfei
in the
was
chat.
worried. Yeah,
Yunfei was She was like asking who's going to go first.
She actually lost sleep about it between the time I told you everyone you weren't going to be here to the time you showed up. She lost sleep. She didn't get a wink of sleep.
Sorry,
it was
Jazz.
awful. Yeah. So, Jazz. Yeah. How did you do anything this week? Anything interesting other than not beat your kids?
Yeah, not beat my kids. If I remember correctly, there was nothing going on Sunday at the tea house, so I ended up leaving. Monday was just some casual RP. I've been doing a lot of stuff on my main Kia, getting new people into the guild, and some of the new people have been wanting tasks, which, as for those of you that knew me way back then for Silver Circle, that's what we used to do. We used to give out tasks so people could level up and stuff.
Run for your life. They're going to get horrible.
And afterwards, we will require a 14-page report on every action you did.
A simple 2-paragraph report will do. Thank you.
You're right. It's not that bad. It's usually 2 pages.
Yeah. So anyway, I've had quite a few people asking me for tasks, which surprised me because I thought everyone hated tasks because I haven't done that in this guild at all.
I never had a problem with them, really.
People just join and do their thing, and I really haven't taken too much of a hand in developing RP in this guild very much, other than just the guild events that we do. So that was interesting. Let's see. Tuesday was poetry night, and Strafe was late, so we started in the guild hall, and it turns out it's a good thing because we went over 12 people.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So it was a good thing we were in the guild hall and not.
What that means, Straw, you're going to have to get a bigger house.
Yeah.
I know, man.
That's only going to cost. That only set you back what, $120, 100.
Yeah, it's about $120.
Yeah, you can just
money
shell that out willy nilly for a virtual property.
Well, last year I saved up all my crowns to get the house I
got. Yeah.
Strafe, for the right price, I have that princely Dawn Manor.
For the right price, listen to it.
I will totally rent you.
I'm sure you will.
She's got the best prices. Everybody says so.
I know a golden elf that's got the money. He's always got gold.
Got gold. So let's see. Wednesday was also casual RP. Thursday was guild night, and we had some fun. Just again, it was all pretty casual. Most of the roleplay I did wasn't mind altering. It was just casual, relaxing interactions between people. I did a lot of Kia RP. I didn't really get on anybody else. I did have some Zasher, my new character, on. I think it was last Saturday after the podcast. I think we had some good RP on Zasher, but that's Zasher. I can't even remember his name.
I was going to say, is that how it's pronounced? I don't remember there being an L in there.
There's not. I should have named him Zashel because I like the R
convert to an L.
So apparently it does in my mind. Zasher. Oh, stop. Oh my God.
That's my favorite part of the end of the Christmas story when they go to the Chinese. I love that scene when they're.
I love it.
The duck, it's smiling at me. Oh, and he just chops the head off. That's so great. That's a great Christmas right there.
Flips the mom out. That's a great movie.
Yeah. Classic. It's okay they had real Asian people doing it. It wasn't whiteface.
Yes.
Wait, is that white? No, whitewash. Yeah. I can't keep track of modern terms.
My gosh, yes, it's so hard.
And by the way, I really feel bad for all the drywall guys out there that now have to put up with that bullshit every day. Because they whitewash things or whitewash jeans. Yeah, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, just assume if you're a white dude, you're going to be the spawn of Satan. And
you at least.
Yeah, I guess. Me for sure.
I get to ride the school bus. I drive all the people down. It's awesome. Dental sucks.
But we all know that's not the case, so. Anyhow.
So anyway, that is all I think. There was really nothing. I did a lot of content when I was bored. When I'm bored, I level. So I went out and did a lot of
You have a
Somerset
brand new
content.
expansion. You're not.
Yes.
I think you're not alone.
I just finished the main quest line today. And now I'm doing the relic stuff, which is yawn, but necessary. So that I think I'll be done with the zone. I think I've cleared it other than that. So I've obviously had a lot of time on my hands, so I didn't get a lot of role play in. Next.
Me,
Go
I'm
for it.
next. I don't remember what I did Sunday, but I know Monday I went to ordinator training, and we shot little discs. We did, like,
Oh,
skeet
that's
shooting.
right. We did do that on Monday, didn't we?
Yeah,
That
it was skeet shooting.
Yes,
Yep.
basically.
Skirt shooting.
And let's see. Then after that, Tuesday, I don't remember. Oh, poetry. Did I actually make it to poetry night?
No, I don't think you did.
No, there was something else going
What did
on.
I do?
You were sick. You went to bed.
Oh yeah, you were dog sick. Yeah.
That's what I did this week. I have really bad allergies, so I ate something that I was apparently allergic to, and apparently I was sick.
I put a team of scientists, and we have narrowed it down to the Pizza Hut pepperoni, not pepperoni, because she's had pepperoni before, and she's Papa John's, and she's had hamburger before. But what she put on this pizza that was different was the sausage. Apparently she is allergic to my sausage.
Oh,
that was a long way to go to set that joke up. Worth it.
My condolences.
Totally worth it.
that was so bad. I can't even believe you. But yeah, so I was out. Yeah, I should, but I was out Tuesday and Wednesday because of that. And Thursday, I had a baseball game. God, I really didn't do any RP at all, I don't think, besides Monday.
Just lazy.
Yeah, pretty much. And then last night they had a big summit thing going on and a bunch of houses in ESO. I went to that and sat around and watched everybody. But that's mine in a nutshell. Wish I had more, but I don't. I blame Ashen.
It's typical. Yeah. So, all right, Strafay, you got anything?
Yeah, early in the week, Monday, or even actually it was Sunday night after the last episode, I got on Kizdian, which is my recruit to the Ordinators. And, well, he got just what was expected of a bandit coming in chains. They found out he was a noble, and he's got double hate on him, so he took the hazing. He took the baton death march on his knees all the way to a shrine.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Via the clergy, with a bunch of folks in tow. He almost died there. They healed him just enough to keep him alive so he could, suffer in his sinner ways.
Repent. Uh-oh, here we go. Shame. Shame.
Yeah,
Shame.
all that.
There she goes.
So he got his first punch in the face by one of the Ordinator ladies. She's one of the high Ordinators. He, being a former bandit, only knows them as gold hats and silver hats. And later, the next day, he was recovering in the clinic down there, and popped off, said something, answered the wrong way to a certain Yallow's liking, and then got punched in the face again while still in manacles. Kishmas came by later, saw the manacles, like, let me see if I can do something about that. Reached in his pocket, grabbed the manacles, jerked Kizdian up, realized he didn't have the keys, dropped him, and wiped his knee and said, I guess I forgot the keys. Have a good time, and walked off. So I'm taking all this abuse. He's taking it. And while you guys were having a lovely time out there shooting skeet with fireballs and whatever, I was sweeping the chapel and made my way out and sweep the porch just so I got to watch some of it. So literally, I'm taking the hazing. I'm like the lowest on the totem pole. All the GIs
I didn't want to say
are
anything, but
smoking me.
you missed a few corners. Yeah.
Well, that's not technically my fault because I swept out the chapel and then Maris showed up and she started sweeping it where I had already swept.
I'm going to blame it on you. I think what she was doing was just sweeping the dirt back out. So
I see.
yeah, I mean, she was sleeping. Just it's ash. There's it's Morrowind. There's always ash everywhere. So what she was doing was she was just following with you. Her broom was coated in ash, and then she just started sweeping, so it didn't look like you were doing anything.
That's right.
Or I could just be making the.
Well, if that
entire
was the
thing up.
case, yeah, then she was probably hazing me. She's the first one that ran me on the Bataan Death March, so I don't put it past her. It was fun all the same. Later, Tuesday, we did the poetry night, and we had a full turnout. Like, Jazz was going to set it up for me because I was running behind, and she set it up in the guild hall for Alanu. And after some witty comments to his niece, like, "You little ferret, you are stealing my event," and also this good stuff. I get in a trap, and it's this alt mode. It's hilarious. You have to be there to experience it. It's funny. We had a good turnout. We had more people than normal. Everyone went up. The second time in a row I've not started off the poetry hour, which is neat. Somebody else went up there with a poem. Everybody seemed to have a good time. And I say after that, I've had a few interactions with Jazz's tune and the Ordinators, because he's a recruit. My tune's a potential recruit. Zaz. He calls him Zaz.
The
The Kizdian calls him Zaz, and he's pretty much just like, "Hey man," they're like, people are seeing this budding bromance, but they're like enlisted, so they're kind of on the same level. Zaz is stoic, has no sense of humor. Kizdian's an escaped noble and former bandit, and he's full of just piss and vinegar, and he keeps making these odd comments and jacking with him, and he's making the guy smile. So he's got a friend, and he kind of earned the friend by giving him his dagger back when he took it on the road. This would have been when he was still in the clinic, and he would lean down to loosen the restraints. Oh, I forgot that. Yes, a certain Yalif also tightened the restraints. Later, Zaz got permission to loosen them so his hands didn't fall off. And they say, "Why is he leaned down?" He said, "Go check this part where they stripped my gear. Stash your dagger there, because I don't want to get smoked if they found me with a weapon." And so he got his dagger back, and he was super happy. And it's like I got an ally for life now. So it's been fun.
Yeah.
I also got on.
And to be fair, he was being very snarky, and she doesn't have time for snarky for people that aren't even recruits.
Right.
Same.
So that's.
Same.
I mean, when you're thrown into
and you
fire
also
pan.
forgot the part where she just broke his nose.
Oh yeah.
Also for snark.
That was for the. Well, I
She's not
said
a very
she got a
friendly
fist in the
person.
face. He waited the next day until she showed back up. That
Mhm.
Yalif in question. And after he was commanded to go up there and get some food or whatever, he looked at the Yalif directly, grabbed his nose, re-broke it back into place, smiled, and went on his way.
Unfortunately, the player, and therefore the character, completely missed the meaning. So
Probably would've got it
she carried on
rebroken.
like nothing happened. She's like, "Huh, someone else must have broke it."
It's
I
been
will
fun. I've been enjoying the beat down, the smoking he's getting, because it's literally like joining the army.
Mhm.
It is for Kizdian anyway.
Especially if you were put there by like court order.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Zash is not your real friend. I'm just saying. Because my character asked him, "Oh, that's your friend?" And he's like, "No, I barely know the guy." And it's like,
Now the truth comes out.
Now, that's not what he said. He
That's
said,
how we
just
remember it.
Met.
She
He doesn't
also
want to admit it because he knows that he could get in trouble. So
trouble.
He also asked Kizdian, your tune did, Civvies. And he said, "Oh no, he just comes around."
He
Just like
yeah.
considering the fact that he's so buddy-buddy with this guy, because he don't want to get smoked for that too, pretty much.
yeah,
And he's got
they're both-
PTSD for any time he sees clergy robes roll in. He's like, "Oh God, they're gonna make me crawl on my knees all the way up a
Starts
mountain."
twitching.
Be quiet. Yeah, exactly.
It's like
So I
old
got
people
all-
with the weather coming in. He sees red robes, his knees before he even sees him, his knees start to ache. There must be a clergy nearby. My knees are aching.
I think it's
pretty
gonna
good.
be fun how it turns out. I
Yeah,
also got
should be
on
interesting.
Rufus the other night. I went with Caves. We did a mini RP where he's pushed his story forward. This
I
whole
did
Imperial-
that with you guys.
Yeah.
See, this is why
Cities
I
was
should.
with us.
Yeah,
I
this.
was,
you were at a rough week. Yeah.
Caves.
But, no,
apparently
that was a
has
lot of
his own
fun.
little mafia going on. He's hired Rufus, and he's hired Voli to be his heavies. So we went and gave him escort, backed him up. He found the person he needed to find, convinced her to go with him. So everyone went home happy. Rufus then dropped by Soldreni's house because he used to work for Soldreni, just to say hey and see if he could scam a bowl of milk. And he's Soldrini's trying to re-enlist him into the Telvannian.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I forgot about that.
Rufus is like, no? What did I just walk into?
And she didn't even ask. She just went to the other master and was like, so, do you think we could have him rejoin? I'd like to pledge him. And he was like, wait, what? What? No.
So she gave him some milk later after that all went down.
Yeah.
Had a little nice chat. She said, well, you can sleep here. And after this little event of re-enlisting Rufus is like, you know what? I always land on my feet. Out the top window he went, landed on the floor, ran for the hills.
Kitty! Do they?
Rufus does.
Do Khajiit always land on their feet? This is something I think the ordination should test.
You have to make sure you test it while they're drunk as well to really get a proper test.
Right. And then we'll have to go back to EverQuest and see if both the Kara and the other one, the Valshir, land on their feet.
Oh man, that
should be interesting. Should be interesting.
But it's been a busy RP week to be sure.
Well, good.
Had countless RP on several tunes, 3 at least I know for sure. But yeah,
it did seem like almost every time I was logged in, which was not too much this week. You guys were out doing something, so that's always good.
Yeah. Oh yes, one more side note. Trath met up with Voli at the bar at the guild hall. They were having a stein of mead, and they were trying to get a good conversation going. So when Cave showed up, said, "Hey, orc lady, I need you." And she's like, let's go, boss." Trath's like, carry on. I must find a mind-dead Imperial anyway. So, and it was fun. It was lots of little moments all week.
You've been Argonian blocked.
Yeah, I did, for sure.
Cave's is really good at doing that, too.
He cave blocked you.
Cave blocked.
Dun-dun-dun.
So awesome.
So, let's see. For me, I was, I defeated a divine beast. It was not very easy. It took me quite a while to get through there. Unfortunately, it had nothing to do with roleplay. I've just gotten ass cheek deep in Breath of the Wild on the Switch. So I've been playing that for like hours and hours. We were off like 5 days this week, and I probably spent I don't even know how long playing that damn game. It is every bit the number 10 out of 10 that it gets everywhere. It's.
I know it's grand.
Game.
I know it's good. I've yet to play it. I've seen it. It looks amazing. But Sibbies, don't let him fall in all the way to his neck because he'll never come out.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was off too, but I was sick.
Yeah.
That's what I got to do this.
Yeah.
Friday.
I get a phone call when I'm expecting McDonald's and hear what I want, and instead it's the I got sick of the thing. I'm on my way. It was again. It really was the sausage. We think there's something in their sausage that she does. We used to have
sausage.
Not to be like personal here, but we used to like. I used to cook out a lot, and I used lots of seasonings and things. And then as her allergies got worse, like the exact same thing I cooked over and over started to really, really get to her. And now at this point, it's just salt and pepper and maybe garlic. Those are pretty much the only 3 ingredients I can put on anything she eats, which is still fucking delicious if you know what you're doing.
It's delicious if you cook it out, but yeah. But no, I hate it.
Allergies, the only saving grace is I had them as horrible as a kid, and I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there that probably have them because, I mean, that's the stereotype. We're all allergic nerds. Unfortunately, it's a stereotype because it's usually true. So, that's the thing. But yeah, it's sucked for her. I felt bad. And I don't
talking about. I was playing baseball when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
Middle school. My bad. Middle school. No, I was a big nerd too.
Yeah, we all were. But yeah, I've been doing that. I really in roleplay. I did a lot of the same stuff. I did the arrow training and things like that on Monday. The biggest thing, I didn't do really one-on-one story stuff this time. So I don't have any story to tell you. But it was interesting last night. There was which was ironic considering our last episode was massive roleplay, and there was something going on in ESO last night. I think between anywhere from like 4 or 5 guilds. It looked to me like about 100 people. Apparently somebody was really interested and counted 85 during the entire thing, all in one
Wow.
little hut. So yeah, this was, and oddly enough, 85 people, and we only had one like everybody crash thing. Whereas people go inside to that tea house of teas on Sunday, and like 12 people in there, and that's all it takes to crash the whole thing.
Well, you also have to remember that there's people outside in the zone that are running around and PvPing and stuff. I think that puts stress on it.
Well, that was the same thing with this one too, because it was also outside in Vardenfell. It was actually the same zone as in Vardenfell, the same zone that TS is in. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because we're out farther away from the city. I don't know what it was, but it was nice. But it was interesting to see that many guilds come together. I'll be honest, I mean, I was there, but I wasn't like a part of it. I was just like a guard there, so I don't know all the details, but I know one of the listeners, Jay the Exile, his guild, Sarthos, was there. He was one of the speakers. They were all trying to, as happens with a lot of MMOs, they all sort of divided up, like each one kind of has parts of the world, and everybody else sort of accepts it. I know that happened in Guild Wars 2 as well. You get in there early, and I guess the stuff had happened, so they were all trying to consolidate and get everything like normalized, and it seemed fairly successful overall. I mean, everybody in character was going on like, well, we'll see, all expecting an ambush. So. But, all right, well, we actually already have a caller, so we'll see what George has for us before we go into,
What was that?
That was, yeah.
That's called a troll.
Yeah.
Number 2.
That is a major troll.
Actually, it's the third troll. By my count.
Hold on there. Let's see here, quick. Nobody wants to see that stuff.
Well, are we having more of a problem?
Yeah, only a giant picture of a pierced ball sack or something like that.
I deleted it.
Yeah, I got it.
Good.
But, yeah, I had a feeling that might be what it is when it's somebody I don't recognize and their name is George. So.
And it's juvenile, the levels of people go to just to get like a 5-second
Yeah.
Look what I did.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm so good.
You're showing your maturity, bro. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, well.
It happens.
There he is again. Hold on. Let me take care of this here.
I got it. I'll delete it.
Well, hold on. I need to.
Oh, Lozzie. We need to like ban his ISP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
But anyway, what was on the
There we
agenda
go.
for tonight?
Let's see here. But, all right. So with that, yeah, you guys should have permission to take care of that. Let's see here. Yeah, unfortunately, that's part of the problem with having an open invite. I have to deal with these when they come up. Usually, it's not during a show, but, whatever. We'll handle them. It's not that big a deal.
At some point, we'll have a call screener.
Yeah, it would be nice. It's one of those things we might have to work on after this, just in case.
Yep.
So, all right. So with that, sorry about that, everybody. With that, let us go to our sponsor for this episode of RPMMO Radio. Feeling run down, sex drive flagging, hate your boss, hate your life, hate the world because you just can't get out of your own head. Does depression, repression, or oppression have you down? Prescription drugs and crystal meth no longer taking the edge off? Then let us help you. Who are we? We are a group of fair-minded, intellectual, and cognitively superior beings that you can trust. Many things have been said about us, all lies, of course, told to keep you paying big bills and keep you from getting the true help that we can give you for a fraction of the price. We are Mind Flayers Psychiatric. Now, not only will you be able to cure you in a single session, We can add that great life you always wanted and never lived to your memories. Unrealistic fears of pickles and the inability to pee in public restrooms. We can cure you. We'll eat up all those old memories for you. We'll take away your fears, your anxiety. Like Michael Moore and Chris Christie locked in a Slim Jim warehouse unsupervised. We will eat it away. No insurance? No problem. There are other forms of payment, and we can suck it out of you, financially speaking. So come see us, Mind Flayer Psychiatric, just across from Cthulhu Temple of Unending Horror and the McDonald's. That sounds like they'd help a lot of people.
Yeah, don't trust the Mind Flayers, bro.
I'm saying that's probably, yeah.
But no, they said that they can help you.
Yeah, if you need a brain abortion, they're the guys. Just saying.
Yeah, that's yeah, no.
What?
They eat brains, bro, and not in the good way.
I am pretty sure. Chilled monkey brains.
Excuse me.
Yeah. All right. So, unfortunately, now because of that, what happened? If you want to actually call in Reformed Buddhist, you're going to have to tell us what you have in the caller details. Yeah, because I don't believe you. So the main topic, turning headcanon events into RP inclusive events. We're actually combining this with two things. One of was something Indigo Jules in the chat had said, and an idea Jazz had. What Indigo had said was, in RP stories, is it better to keep players in the dark as to surprise them in RP, or is it better to open OOC about be open about OOC plot twists, so you and the other people in the event have a chance to digest what's coming and can plan for it? And what Jazz had was Jazz.
I don't know what you're asking me.
Like what your
you
idea?
Want me to read number
two?
No,
no. What your idea for the show was how you meant it about headcanon, which is I think why we combined the two. They're very close.
Yeah, because when you have a story in your head that you've created about your character or how to advance your own story, and you want to include other people, and so you just kind of put it out there, but you're the star of your own show, and you're just giving them bit parts, and then nobody wants to, and you're upset because nobody wanted to play. Nobody wanted to take part in this neat story you came up with, and that part of headcanon where you have all this awesomeness in your head and you're trying to create an event that's all about you and your character and not about everybody else, and then nobody wants to play along because they feel like it's all planned out, they can't do anything anyway.
You know how you fix that?
Well, that's why we're having this.
Yes, I know.
I wanted to hear his answer. I was expecting a joke.
Yeah.
I'm going to be disappointed now if it's not a joke.
Not a joke.
Dang it.
You actually let people come in and change your make changes, add in, and it actually changed the course, and you have more people involved. They all get involved in the story. It's like everybody gets to have a piece of that story, and it actually turns into something a lot cooler in the end than you ever thought it would be.
Right. And that is what you learn how to do in time. But when you first start out, and I see a lot of this in roleplay guilds, that people have this idea that they want to portray, and they're like, this is what my character is going to do, and it's going to be awesome, and you get to play along, and it's going to be great because you're going to take part in it. And while that's okay if they're good friends of yours and there are a couple of people who are playing along and they all kind of know how it works, that's usually okay. But when you're talking about getting 15, 20 people involved, people lose interest because there's no real place for them, and your headcanon becomes the stumbling block.
It does. So how I DM, I literally will write an outline about, okay, this is the very beginning. I would like to have this happen in the middle. I want to eventually get to this point at the end. Now, any point in between there, I'll let my players go where they want to, and it'll just mold to a different story and add back in eventually. It gives people the freedom to get in, make it their own, create some new stuff that you thought might not happen, and it keeps it fresh. Everybody's happy, as opposed to, this is scripted, I don't want to be here, you suck, bro, and they rage quit.
And when it comes to, for me, being able to plan a role play, and I don't usually give people any heads up about the twist themselves, but I will say, you know, if somebody asks me, is this going to be bad or is this going to be good? People want to know if it has a happy ending or not. People will ask you that. You can say, well, sort of, but it won't be horrible. I promise it'll be fun. I don't usually give people too much because I've learned the hard way that when you are planning an inclusive event and you tell people during this event, we're going to have this really bad guy show up and he's going to do bad things, these people will purposely step in to solve it before it ever happens.
Cock block the role play.
Yeah. So, because they want to feel important and they want to, so, dun, 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 see, because I was here, this bad thing never happened. I am awesome.
Correction,
Clap.
Ashen. That was cave block.
Cave block the.
Cave block.
Yeah, I can't use that one with that though, because the actual caves wouldn't block something like that.
I know.
No, he wouldn't.
Talking about the
So-
Argonian, but yes.
That's what I mean.
You
That caves.
you learn not to do that. You learn to leave a great deal. I mean, like we'd always tell our officers what was going to happen so they could be mentally prepared for what the drama might turn into. But barring that, we really didn't discuss things too much.
Yeah. Real quick thing. Thank you, Yunfei, for subscribing, and TK Dean for following, as well as, by the way, like this, Bathrobe Dwayne, try hard.
Yay! Or people.
Try hard won, but I mean, at that point, it was really ones. Apparently, there was already somebody that had that one. I don't know. That's are they just like numbers? But appreciate you guys following, and Yunfei for the subscription. That's very kind of you. We appreciate it. So yeah, that's kind of where we were at with this one. And they kind of blend together a lot of ways. You know, that getting your ideas out there in a cohesive way. That because I mean, clearly every headcanon is obviously only about your character. I mean, right? I mean,
Right.
it's headcanon. But there are good and bad ways to get what you have created for your backstory that, you know, like pre-game or pre-character creation. We'll do that. Pre-character creation, everything that happened, you know, beforehand, because they don't just pop up and exist in a bubble.
I would assume so, yeah.
Typically. I mean, I guess, unless, of course, you're doing the I have no memory thing. But even with that, eventually you're going to have to remember that. Usually. Most people do. That's part of the plot. It's worked for 60 years on soap operas.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, if it works, why change it, right? So it's getting all that stuff out there. That's the trick. That's getting... Without doing the, as we've said before, hey, how's it going? It all began 5 years ago. Going into your life story, you know?
Yeah.
Or the opposite, where the what did you call them, Strafe? The wall holders? Was that you that said that? I think.
Wall holders?
The people that just lean on walls but never give you an ounce of.
Oh, yeah, they
anything.
hold the walls up.
Yeah, hold the walls up. Thank you.
The wall holders, right?
Wall holders, you know, but they're the exact opposite of the spectrum. Instead of, you know, giving your 14-page summary of your character's entire life, you could meet them for like 5 months straight and never know that they can't do, you know, other than knowing that their head is mobile for nodding and that they can frown and coyly smirk. You don't know shit about them, you know. That gets old too. You can't, you know. There's got to be some give and take. There's a happy medium in there, and
Somewhere,
that's what
yes.
we're gonna find. We're gonna find a happy medium, which is not the same as a Happy Gilmore.
At all? Really?
Not even a little bit. No. It sounds like, you know, when you say Happy Gilmore like that, it sounds like it's either a sex act or a drink you order in a bar. I'd like a Happy
True.
Gilmore. Would you like that with a twist of lime?
Sounds dubious.
Right. It's no appletini, but it's not that bad.
Like I say, I mean, I've said in pen and paper games where people literally are by the book, it's got to be this or nothing, And the whole game felt restrictive. Even if you try to do something outside the lines, it was a little odd. As opposed to if you let the players go where they want to, even if it's off the beaten trail. For instance, the guys I was DMing Forgotten Realms for, they wanted to go off to the freaking Grand Desert for whatever reason. And I let them go, and we had a whole another freaking adventure, and eventually came back to the main story. And everybody was, the team was more unified because like, oh, you remember that time we went to the desert and we found those Undrentide ruins? I was like, oh yeah, that was cool. And so they had stories to tell, as opposed to, oh yeah, cool guy 673, he did this event, and we just got to watch and eat popcorn because we weren't cool enough to interact with his story,
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, someone sent me something, so I was checking that out real quick. I won't lie, I'm totally just shot to shit right there at this point with my nerves. It frazzled me.
Hey, I believe in action.
So yeah, it's gonna take me a sec to get my shit together. But yeah, so with that, you want to hit the kind of the first way that you can kind of separate that out, Jazz?
Sure. Okay, so we go to number 2 then, right?
Yes, that would be.
Okay. So we've all been there when we first start. You come up with this awesome story and you want to include people, but you can't get anyone interested no matter what you do. And later, when you get a little better at it, you realize that at the time you were only asking people to take part in a play where you had the starring role and they didn't. And the question becomes, how do you move from this mindset into inclusive RP for more than just yourself?
Yes. So what does that mean?
Well, when you first start out, it's just about your character. And that is where a lot of people get stuck. When you move beyond that, it becomes into creating RP. And RP is, and I've always said this, is a living thing. It has to be fed and watered and cared for and encouraged. It's alive in many ways.
It's those trees you're talking about, Ashton, with each character. You got to water their trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's branching.
It's basically this. Yeah, it has to branch out. You have to do that, or it just gets stale and stagnant, and it's not fun for anyone. You get bored, you move on. We carried on a storyline for 10 years in EQ2, and it wasn't ever boring.
No, and it always, and obviously year to year, it just progressed as people came and people went,
right.
And stories.
But we involved
came and
everyone in that story, and so the story started out over here, but with all the branches and twists and turns and changes, it ended up way over here. And I don't think if you'd asked me when I first started this, that it would end up way the hell over there. I don't think anybody could have foreseen that.
You guys did such a great job including players who were willing to RP in Silver Circle that y'all had this watcher thing going on for years, and I finally got there in the middle of it, and then it even went beyond that and went to some crazy place. But it was fun for everybody who wanted to participate.
The watcher RP lasted for 5 years. We had a storyline that lasted for 5 years.
Yeah, and it wasn't consistent. He was the and that was a collaboration too, because Jazz, if I remember right, and here's how we'll talk about how like a collaboration having this is how one headcanon can turn into another, and then they feed off of each other. If I remember right, Jazz, and you back me up, this was one of your characters was having a dream about a guy, Red Eyes or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. And then I took it.
was having nightmares about Red Eyes.
Red Eyes, and then I took it to it. I had talked about. You asked you like, do you have actually anything for that? And you're like, not really.
I was just kind of running with it, and it sounded fun. And you were like, "Well, how about if I made someone with red eyes?"
Right. Well, yeah, and that's when I had. Well, all right. Well, here's I'll if you're cool with it, and then I started actually describing maybe some of the dreams she would have with her permission, of course, because we'd known each other long at that point. She trusted me, and I didn't have to explain too much right off the bat because I didn't. This was one of those things where I didn't want to spoil the surprise, so this was where like trust comes into it.
Yeah.
And trust with your guildies, they have to trust you and everything like that, and that's something you have to build up over time.
And it's important to know that when you started doing that, we had been role playing together for several years, and like you said, the trust was there, but also the knowledge. You knew the backstory of my character, inside out, backwards, and forwards. So
also a bit of irony is 2 years into y'all's crazy story, a real bad guy with crimson red eyes showed up into the guild.
Yeah, and and so eventually it slowly went from like a charcoal, like burning charcoals for eyes kind of a thing, and the red eyes weren't like red eyes like showed up later. They were always glowing, and it was always misty, and it was hard to see. And then after a while, like under the hood, like you could always see it like a too wide smile of just pearly white teeth.
Hey, it started off just red. Ocarina made him glow, but he never grinned. So you got me there.
No, well, yeah, that's true. And the Watcher eventually started. It was like it was like a permanent grin. I was just trying to think of the creepiest thing, and it didn't actually wear black. It just was black. It just was flowing darkness, and
it was like dark. It was a foreboding
dream,
telling her something bad was coming because the Watcher was stalking her not only in her reality but in dream state.
Because
the Watcher was a bro. He gave me all kinds of goodies for my tune, so I have no complaints.
And it ended up being a repressed like. I don't know for how I don't know even if I ever told Jazz where I actually got the inspiration for it was, but it actually came from the X-Men. When Xavier's mind was so broken, he actually created a character called Onslaught, which was just pure psychic energy of his own mind, had a personality all its own, had powers all totally separate from the actual character that was projecting out of it. And this was placed into Xanus's head long, long ago and had been laying dormant this entire time until something had flipped the switch and turned it on. And this eked out slowly and slowly as we went on, because I didn't know all the details at the beginning either. I knew kind of where we wanted to go, and then we created the fact that it was placed there by his family because they were trying to create something to give a one-up. Because obviously they're dark elves, they don't give a shit about their kids, so if they could turn their kid into a weapon, more power to it. So they were trying to one-up the other families, and it was originally created because this is 1,000 years before to actually go after her family, which is why when it woke, it went straight for her because that's what it was sort of programmed to do. So but all this came about just because she did one little line about, or not a line, it was like a journal entry or something about that, about red glowing eyes, and I just took it from there, and we bounced ideas back and forth, and it took something that just became one little kind of headcanon in my head and turned into a guild-wide event. And it would be defeated, and it would go away, and then it was separated from Xanus, so it became its own entity, and then it would, restore and come back, and with we'd had a whole totally new plot of, it was the kind of a little cliche, but it wasn't programmed to do it, but it was personal to the thing now, so it kept coming back.
What's cool about the roots of that is we're starting that now anew slowly.
We
I started off with this evil twin thing, and then Jazz ran with it. Now her tune is having, and we've included your tune, and we've included a few other people like Sibby's, and now she's having nightmares about someone's going to die. Yeah. And I already had that in like the game plan of what's going to happen, and I'm like, Jazz, I don't know how you get in my head, but you need to get out of my head. But it's turning into something neat for people to do.
Yeah. Well, a part of that comes too from role playing with the same people over and over and over again. We've known each other longer than a lot of people have, but even people that have role played together for only a year or so. I mean, in the scheme of things, a year's not a lot, but when it comes to like role playing and things like that, that's a long ass time, And that it really goes, especially when you see someone, or not see someone, but talk to somebody almost every single day like that. It can create friendships pretty quickly, and create trust and things like that. Especially when they're just, there's in-character stuff that's always so much fun, and then out-of-character you guys can joke and, blah, 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 and gab and talk, and you give a shit about when somebody has to go pick up their kid and they didn't beat them to death. You actually like that.
Like today? Yeah.
Yeah. Just as an off-the-head example. Right. So, but really, how do you take... Because not a lot of people, I'm going to say, I don't know what the percentage would be. I'm not even going to give one because it depends. It changes game to game and community to community. But there are a lot of people. Sometimes it's new people. Sometimes it's introverts, people that don't know how to put their feelings and emotions out there, or they're shy or they feel silly, or all those different things that may keep all this great creative energy, all these amazing ideas that they have, and that's as far as they go. That they'll never leave the head of that individual because either a paralyzing fear that they'll look stupid, or they just don't know how to get it out there, or they're whatever the reason might be. And so how is it you take that and you get that to flow into other people? You know, get somebody else involved with making it interesting to other people to want to know your character more.
Yeah, you got to talk to your guildmates. You got to trust your friends to be your friends and to share it. If you share it, it'll grow into something like a seed. You're planting it, and the water is involving your friends with it and not just keeping it to yourself.
Yeah. Trusting people with my storyline, because it really belonged to the guild in many senses. I mean, it was still my story, and I still owned the story and the ideas and everything. But I was sharing it with the guild and letting people in and encouraging people to take part in it, not knowing how it was going to end. And it did change from where I think I had originally planned on it going to where it was now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how it has to happen. So, I mean, really to get it out there, you have to be it's easier said than done. Trust me, I know it. Not giving a shit what other people think. I mean, everybody does on some level or another, at least, and maybe not with everybody. Like, you know, the lady at the Panera Bread that doesn't know how to fucking park because apparently she doesn't need to put her tires on the line. So I pulled right up next to her and she had to sit there and wait for Sib to eventually get out of the car on that side, and she was just stuck there waiting the entire time. It's like, and I just sat there staring at her like, yeah. Maybe if you knew how to fucking park your car, you wouldn't be sitting there right now.
She did it to herself, bro.
I just stared at her. Like, I don't give a shit what that woman thinks. But if it's somebody I actually know, yeah, of course you're probably going to care what they think about you or your ideas or what you come up with. So, like I said, saying I know you just can't care is different than actually being able to do it. But
it is hard to trust.
But you got to do it.
Yeah, in RP. And you know, if you do let people into your storyline and it doesn't work out, then, you know, you can keep that storyline going and just, you know, not have to worry about them. But if you let people in and they add to the story, then, you know, you've probably made another friend and somebody that's fun to RP with, somebody to get to know.
And even if they do sabotage your roleplay, you can always turn that into a tragedy for your character and move on and mark that and use that sadness or whatever happened to your tune as an event in their life that you can always feed off of or jump from.
And we certainly did that on more than one occasion because people were adopted into Vaca's family, and then we had to have them not be.
Because that's the whole thing with role-playing. You have to let your character grow and evolve, because if you don't, it's going to be stale and boring, and it's going to be hard for people to role play with you.
Yeah, and if somebody gives you if somebody just flat out says, "So, how are you doing?" or, you know, "You look like you're upset," that is them they're cracking the door open for you. Don't just ignore that as, "Oh, well, they don't really care." They wouldn't. It's role play. It's not real life. I have to ask people, how are you doing in real life? Because I have to pretend that I give a shit about what their stupid life is doing. I don't have to type that. In roleplay, I have to physically type that out. And I don't do that if I don't actually give a shit.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
And most people are like that. There's some people like Sib that are probably going to be as polite as they are in game as they are in real life.
And me, just saying.
And you, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you guys are cut out of that same, cloth.
Kishmas. It's a
What's
Kishmas
going on, Elephant Man?
Hey!
Animal survived his fight with the Joker.
I'm a human being.
You totally missed it. You missed our troll.
I wouldn't say you missed it.
At work.
It was awful.
Yeah. But, I'm glad you could make it, Kishma. Sorry you had to get sent home because of your face. I mean, I'm sure it's not the first time.
Well, no.
Jeez.
What happened to your face, by the way? I don't know why. You said it's all puffy and swollen.
Puffy and swollen is like some sort of infection. I'm getting it fixed.
Dude, the first rule, Kishmas, about Fight Club, is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Well, he didn't until you just brought it up.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
Mr. Fay.
You just send number 47 to your house.
Which one? Is that the one, the Timothy Oliphant or the Elephant, or the other one?
I got something for him.
Whichever one's best.
I got 30
you're
reasons
sending
for him to stay
neither?
away from my door.
Yeah.
They were both. It's a shame too, because I actually like the guy that played Justified, Timothy Oliphant. He's a fantastic actor and he's a badass. He looked like a little kid playing Agent 47 in that first movie. Oof. He is not one of those guys that can pull off that bald head look at all. Should have got like a Jason Statham or something. So what are we talking about?
Well, could talk about my headcanon's best. Yours sucks. End of show. Boom.
Oh, drops the mic and walks
well,
away.
given how giant your head is, I'm not surprised at that point right now.
Oof.
Ooh.
Ouch.
I'm still good looking.
Yeah, I'm sorry your ovaries got infected and it puffed up your face. It sucks.
It happens, man.
It happens. I know.
It does happen, man.
Happens to the best of us. It happened to me
You guys
twice
are
last
so
week.
terrible to each other.
talk
I
about
don't know
your
what to do
syphilis.
with you.
My syphilis.
Yeah.
Herpagonosyphilades.
I am gonorrhea.
That's awful.
Oh my gosh.
So
Remember when-
anyway, to catch you up, we're actually talking about how you take the head cannon that you have in your head and actually try to get it out there. And not in one giant 14 paragraph chunk, but as things. But like
Get
I
it
said,
out there and getting people involved in it.
yeah.
Okay.
And if somebody asks you, like your character, like I was saying, if they type out and they actually say, "So hey, how are you doing?" or you've seemed like you've been upset lately. Are you okay? Take the opening.
Yeah.
You don't have to shut it down instantly. And if it's the first time and you can play a
listen.
little hard to get, but remember, after a while, it gets old asking that. And after a while, I mean, I stopped caring after that, and that's why I'll stop asking you. I no longer care that you're
I will
moping about.
say, being friendly, like they always say, attracts more, or what is it? Bees. You attract more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And that is exactly right.
Flies,
You attract
actually, but yes.
Man, let's
Yeah,
get
more
potato
flies
chips.
than honey than
You
vinegar,
attract-
but yes.
Oh yeah,
more
well you
people
attract
being nice than you do.
Yes, you do.
Standoffish.
Particularly
or-
OOC-ly nice. I mean,
Also, if they ask you, "Hey, how you doing?" and you say "pretty terrible," actually, you can really get their attention real quick.
Yeah, and then expand on it. And then don't be like, "But I don't want to go into it."
I mean, unless their character's a dick, they're like, all right, fuck you. I'm like,
Sorry I asked. I was just trying to make general conversation.
See if I ask again.
And I actually
Then
always
there's
thought you
the-
could get
then
more
there's the
flies with
brooders.
shit than with anything.
well, yes, but it's the saying. So
I
I
like
mean, then
my
you got the
saying
people
better.
that sit in the corner where they're corncob pipes and like grunt as you speak to them.
That was the
was the
wall
wall holders.
leaners.
Ugh.
Wall leaners, wall holders,
Wall
Yeah.
leaners are the worst. They need to fuck off.
I have
We're
to
so
say that's
nice.
one good rule at the Abbey. No leaning on the walls.
Yeah, it does keep that emo down. Of course, it is a holy place, so that does make sense.
Ghosts in the walls. We're protecting you.
Yeah.
Not kidding.
Good to know. Good to know.
Or it's those, what were those things in Legend of Zelda, the old one, where the hands would come out of the wall and grab you and send you back to the beginning of the dungeon? We have those in every abbey in
Those
temple,
grabbing
and-
hands are
Yeah, those were a bitch. Doesn't work so well in 3D though. They've kind of had to go away. But yeah, so if somebody gives you that opening, for the love of God, take it. Don't be like, oh, I don't know. They probably are just trying to be nice. No, they're actually asking because they actually, for whatever reason, care. And that's good because that's typically what they're after. They're there for the same reason you are. They want role play. So they're asking that to try to engage in role play. And if you've got, or if something comes up in an event or a storyline where you can, if it was traumatic, which, I mean, what backstory doesn't have some sort of horrible tragedy in it? I mean, it's like every episode of Naruto. But with that, if something happens in the story and your character, relives that, it's very close to what you had already imagined, which, by the way, happens a lot more than you might think it does. Because there's, every idea has already been created, as the, Romans used to say 2,000 years ago. But
And there's also an old art saying that says the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. There's no new art. Everybody is just copying from each other. So stop being so pissy about it.
They're quoting Ecclesiastes. There's nothing new
Yes.
under the sun. Just saying.
you're an Ecclesiastes.
I am
like
an
that little-
Ecclesiastes.
Like that little hee.
he just had to get those bibble jabs in there. I'm
Hey
just
man,
Yep.
So
I saw that
read what
opening.
TKD.
You, see,
wrote.
and he took the opening exactly like that. Okay, so what TKD say?
It says,
Oof.
so I come from a D&D mainly, and what I find is that there are some things that you can script about your character, but it's the
Improvised.
improvised things that you and your friends come up with off the cuff is much more interesting and gives your character a real sense of growth because it's the raw reaction. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Full agreement.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Because you do get those, like, oh wow moments, you know.
Yeah,
when it's
punting always
unscripted.
comes up with some pretty amazing RP, I found.
Yeah, that's a good way of
When
putting
you
it.
just have to punt. You just something happens, and rather than just say, I didn't say that was okay, you go along with it, and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool because it made something happen that you would never have thought of on your own.
And like you say, putting it in baseball terms of punting. What?
Sorry.
I can't believe you did
You
that.
do not
makes everybody
know
scramble.
your baseball terms, babe. You
What?
do not know.
Yeah. When
No.
It's a
and
punt.
No.
and if they catch it, you get off because you hit it with the bat. You get off
Yeah,
for
you
high
punt.
sticking.
It's
It's a
only one of
bunt with a B. Just saying.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh,
Right, Civvies?
A
Someone
punt-
say blunt? Are we
Punting
smoking?
is for football.
I was gonna say
is it?
yes.
I thought it was for baseball.
For shame.
That's bunting. I was actually making a totally different joke, but sorry, Chess, I didn't mean to make you step in that one.
I have no idea. I'm sports dumb, so
It's
yeah.
okay.
No.
I pick my teams by colors they wear.
That's right.
Really, I picked mine by their asses.
I like Seattle's
Juicy.
green shoes.
I pick them by their facial hair. Let's go with that.
Alert.
Yeah,
So
'cause
role-play
the Yankees
and
aren't allowed to
headcanon.
have facial
Right,
hair,
but-
so I want facial hair on my players.
But
So role play and facial head
Right.
can't. Facial. God, no.
You are so welcome, Strippy.
welcome to RPMMO Facial Hair, where we'll talk about beards, and more beards. Coming up next after the fives.
Epic beards and sport beards.
Did you see that beard that guy had?
Man. He must-
Beards on halflings. Oh no.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Way to take it to a dark spot.
But yeah, punting. Just to make sure, punting is in football when they're going for the field goal. Bunting
Oh.
is when you hold the bat steady and let the ball hit it, and it basically just goes into the
I
infield.
totally thought those were the same words.
Oh no,
I
no
had
way.
no idea.
Punting is when you cannot convert on a third down and it becomes fourth down. You have the option to punt.
I stopped
Go for
listening. Sorry.
Unless you're after the 20-yard line, then you can go for a
Where-
field goal.
Well, where does the
So
high
I kick
sticking
it
come in?
and it
The
just
high
kind of
stick
goes
comes
maybe
in.
because I didn't hear the rest of it.
Wait,
I
wait,
know
wait,
you
wait.
kick it.
We're getting
and
so far off
So
topic.
role play and
Well,
head
if Tom Brady can't make a free throw, then that's when the high sticking comes
Tom
in.
Brady ain't in head cannon, bro. It's role play and head cannon.
All I
bro.
know
My
is
head
Canada
cannon.
is terrible. Sorry to our
Oh my God.
sorry to our 3 Canadian listeners.
I love Canada. I'm just gonna say, I'm throwing that out there.
But no, what you're saying with the taking the punt for it and going with it, and then one of the things you had said was then being like, well, that's not how it's supposed to go. Which that's the difference between going with the flow or punting and scripting everything out. Like it's a script. Like everything. Boom, boom, boom. You have to hit these points, and you have to go to this. That if that's how you're wanting to bring your headcanon out, you're probably not going to get a lot of people to participate in that.
Comes down to flexibility, right? You gotta be
Right.
flexible.
Yep.
Because if that's what you're going into, and you're bringing other players in, nobody wants their character. They're basically handing over control of their character temporarily to you, which I personally don't want to do ever. That's my character. I've put a lot of
Hell
work
no.
into all of them. But if you're gonna just completely script everything where, like, if your character doesn't do this certain thing, then you have to chew them out. Man, you can't. And I've seen that. I don't know about all of us, but I know Jazz has seen that, and I think Strafay has as well. Where if I've seen people when they have an event, and it's scripted from start to finish, but they don't allow for, like, you can know where point A and point B are probably going to end, but in between, there's many paths that they can take, and that's fine.
Wall-eyed pits from people that things don't go the way they want it to go. Just saying.
Yeah. What were you saying, Kishmas? I heard you say no.
Oh, that was like a while ago.
15 seconds.
It's a while for me. Especially in this state.
When you're 22, that's a long time.
That is a long time. He doesn't have near the years to look back on like we old folks do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you've got to do that. But so going into the headcanon, what's the different, like, headcanon and story building? Why is it absolutely necessary? Because you have to know something about your character. If you go in blindly without even knowing how they talk, and then that you're gonna end up changing it. Which there's nothing terribly wrong about that. I had role play with Yunfei, like what I told you last time, and she was on one character, and she told me, she was actually on the character she changed it to, but she was thinking she was gonna have another one named Alice, but she told me Bree, and then it turned out she actually just wanted to keep it as Bree. That's because she's still trying to figure out, some of that stuff.
That's not quite the same thing.
Right, exactly.
You're supposed to kind of do that, I think. Yeah.
Right, all the role play stayed exactly as it was. The only thing that changed was she's like, I'm going to stick with this character over here and not make the new one like I thought I was. And that's fine. I didn't have, like, whatever, I don't care. The role play is still the same, right? Yep, that's cool. I was like, all right, well, whatever. That's all right with me. And and I say that, however, there are people that would have been like, no. Well, then they would have got real upset. There's not many, but I have known people that are that OCD, I guess, that if everything, what happens at that time stays at that time, it's unable to be
they don't want their characters to grow up or change, ever.
Well, that early in the game, you're still trying to figure out your character.
Yeah.
Right.
A good example,
I understand that.
Just like
Yunfei. Kia's story changed 4 or 5 times before I finally really settled on something, because I played her in game and I got a feel for kind of what I had designed, and I was like, I think she'd do this. And it took a while, but once she was set, then I don't like willy-nilly change my mind. I think that's what headcanon is. It's your knowledge of your character and what they will do in a situation. And if you don't have that set in your head, then your character's going to come off a bit bipolar and weird, because nobody knows what they're going to do.
A funny example of early character development was when I first started playing Trithalis, I had run into one of our friends' characters. She played High Elf, and it was like Trath was digging on her. But then I would run around with Kia, and he'd have these talks with his niece. And OOC, I'd be like, I think Trath has a thing for orc ladies. I don't know why. And then later on, after his betrothed had died, Voli's like rolling around, and he's like, why, hello, darling. Would you like to share a mug of mead? And it's just funny how those little things from back when you created it kind of comes back to the forefront. And if you didn't brainstorm that headcanon early on, you wouldn't have these little options to explore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially, and if, and we're talking more, well, really, actually, I guess it's both for established and new characters. If it's a new character, I mean, cut them some slack, Like if you meet them one time and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? I like everything. Drinking's awesome," and then they think on it for a week, and the next time you meet the character, it's like, "Oh, well, hello there. Would you like some tea?" Just go with it.
Yeah.
It's just roll with the punches.
They're new characters. You
Right.
have to give people time to develop their character. Yeah.
Yeah, so and they're actually interacting, at least and think these things. A character's an evolution. You have a basic idea, kind of where you kind of want them, maybe, and that will shift. And a lot of that shifts depending on the people around you. I mean, I'll be honest with that. My characters, if I had been in a different guild than the Servants or Silver Circle back in the day, characters would have been totally different, just because of the people around me and the interactions with them. How Xanis was when we were all Silver Circle, as opposed to when we all did like the Spectre Cartel stuff. That was,
Yeah.
Because the way things were, it was different. Same character, but it was a different role. Just like it is when you change lives or something or change lives. Yikes!
And because of that,
change jobs.
Because of the headcanon you did and that RP you had over the years, I was able to go back and flesh out Ren's past, which included a very young Xanis, and you already knew how your character was in the past. So I included it. I figured you wouldn't be mad anyway because it was a good role.
Yeah, well, and even then
you're like, breeds
hey,
more cool
and
stories.
Even you're like, hey, by the way, is this just cool? Like, if
Yeah.
And you had asked me like, if you had the timeline correct, which you did, and you're like, so you didn't tell me all the details. For one, I trusted you, but you're just like, cool if I do something where like a long time ago they had bumped into each other. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. It was that easy,
Yeah, and it was like,
and even then, it still didn't come up. It wasn't like. Like 5 seconds later, you're going into 14 paragraphs. So it took a while for that arc
to get up to that
story
point
to get to it. Yeah,
and it was just a small one-off little deal. It's like you got a peek to see what Xanis was like when he was young and still doing the house politics before he got that change from Tunar. It's like, look, Xanis was as bad as Ren back in the day.
Exactly,
and it was kind of a neat little window to see into two characters in the past. I thought it was neat.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't get that unless you trust your friends and you include them with your headcanon.
Right. You guys, and you have to share that stuff, and then I don't think we had it on here, but I've seen it happen a lot. Let's double check and make sure. People that like, and sometimes it's a little goofy and a little funny to me, but it's like, oh look, my long lost brother. That I never knew existed.
Gosh, yeah.
And you guys, but people collaborate on that, and I think there's a lot of people that do that stuff. They think it'd be their friends, OOC, and they're like, hey, I'm coming to your game. Is it cool if we're like, I don't, because they're shy or whatever, and they're like, is it cool if we're related or like maybe long lost friends or something? And you go with that, and that's a sharing of stories and backgrounds. They're like, all right, well, here's what I've because the guy that's been playing there for a year and a half, they've already established in roleplay. So they've got to explain to the new person that's coming in, like, well, all right, here's catching you up. So how can we fit this in there?
Gives those guys a leg up to get into the action.
Yeah.
Right.
They have something to build from.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like I said, sometimes it gets a little out of hand. It's like, all right, isn't this like... I mean, what was your mom Octomom? I mean, how many freaking kids did she have? Jesus. This is the fifth brother you didn't know about.
I will say that right there is hard for me, just because I'm not as experienced as you guys. I get real nervous about letting people be associated to my characters.
I typically don't do it either, really.
But I mean,
and that's one of my things. So I love doing that. I love having mystery. People. Yes, you've noticed. I know. I try to have siblings and fathers and mysterious siblings and cousins and old friends, and I'm perfectly cool with that. If you talk to me ahead of time, you don't just assume. I enjoy that because it creates a nuance for my characters.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I usually in the profile it'll say siblings unknown. If I've got it set, it'll say 2 siblings, no more than that. So. Yeah.
No, I just wish I could be more that way. I'm not. I don't know why I am, but it makes
You're also newer than we are.
Yeah.
Well,
give yourself another 5 years.
There's another element to that too, and it also involves a lot of trust. And not saying that you don't trust the people around you, Sib. Like, it just might not be like for me. I mean, I trust Jazz and I trust Kishma, Sib, and Strafei. I trust all 4 of you. But if you guys came to me and said, hey, I have Tuna, I'd like him to be related to Tarvala or Kenix, I'm like, no, sorry. It's just not I just don't like I don't like that kind of dynamic when it comes to family. It's not something I personally enjoy. Like, I don't mind it in other people, and I'll play along with it, no problem. But for me, I just don't, it's a control thing for me. I don't like, Tarvala's a single child, and if she had some sort of secret thing that would unravel a lot of her roleplay, which I'm just not willing to do. So there's that as well. That's her head.
But you also
that's my head canon.
With having next to know people in the life that you may not have said ahead of time. So
It
You
sometimes
are flexible
sabotages.
in some ways.
It sometimes sabotages your established role play. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, that's
What are you
happened
saying,
to me.
Kishmas?
That's happened to me when I was playing Regier. It's because me and a buddy, an old friend, like way back before pre-One Tamriel, playing as DC characters. Don't mention it. But he came back and was like, hey, you want to do some RP? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm part of this guild called Servants of the Tribunal, and maybe we can have Regier have like some sort of long-lost nephew or not. I'm like, oh, okay, let's do that. For 2 weeks, it happened. There wasn't much RP, and in the end, he's like, I'm gonna kill him off. I'm like, well, like you wanted this, so why change it all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And
were those the Boost Roda days, bro?
No, bro.
Bruh.
Bruh.
But yeah, and then you're left like, well, what do I do with this little? It's like this just dangling little plot thread. I mean, I guess if they kill him, that's all well and good, but at least
Then
it was
you
just,
have to deal with the aftermath of
at least
that.
it was just a nephew. You're like,
Raj is an only child.
yeah,
I pretty much retconned that whole thing.
yeah, and sometimes, especially if it's very short, like how long did you say that was? Like what, a couple months?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
See,
couple
like,
weeks retcon. That's
yeah, it's
fair.
just easier to be like, wow,
This didn't happen.
what a weird dream, man. I need to totally lay off the hookah. I thought I had a nephew. Weird. Anybody else want some of these Doritos?
Yo,
Wait a minute.
Yo,
These
Raj
are
is high in,
leaves.
like most combat missions. He does a huge pull of the Jirac. He's like, oh, bro, this could be a great time.
I
Like
think
when he
that's
was
the reason.
chuckling and smiling the other day
Right.
during the summer. That's the reason. he
In
was
his off
fucking
time,
high.
Kishmas's
Oh.
character Roger is actually standing out in Vivek City offering signatures to legalize pot.
The petitionist.
Whatever. What do you say, Sid?
I said I think that's the reason why I don't really associate or like attach my characters to people is because I don't want to be sad. Like if somebody's just like, I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. Then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And if my
Yeah,
character
and that is
is
always a
young,
risk
then-
when you do that. And I certainly have gotten burned numerous times. But I think it also, for me, goes back because my brother died when I was young. And I had family, but they just kind of vanished. So I think in some way, the reason I like family RP is it kind of feeds into that loneliness in that sense. And it makes it more fun for me because I'm exploring what it would have been like to have a big family, for example. So
Yeah, and that,
And
see,
I-
that makes
yeah.
sense.
You've certainly
And I-
loved being related to Rengots and somehow
Oh, yeah.
Traphalis. I'm
Oh,
not
yes.
sure what that's about, but
I
hey, I
love-
love it. It's fine. It's cool.
I love sibling and RP and cousins and things like that because, like I said, I didn't have a big family. It's just me. And
Yeah.
I really like the idea of having a big family. And of course, I have people who have big families are like,
And
dude,
it's awful.
you're crazy. Yeah.
And that might be, and I have a sister. I have a few siblings, most of which after my mom, so I had my sister growing up, and she's people. She's actually very nice, but I love talking to my family. I love doing all that stuff, but I'm just not a big fan of like hanging out with people like in real life anymore. Sip and I were talking about today. It's like,
We actually had a long discussion about this
Yeah,
earlier today
like,
because
am I a terrible person for just wanting to come home and not see or talk to anybody that we either are friends or related to?
Oh, man,
Not really. I think everybody gets that. But I mean, as for me, I got two brothers, and dude, I love both of them. And if we could hang out all the time, yeah, every once in a while you need some time to chill
Right.
alone. But dude, I absolutely adore hanging out with
Yeah.
Joel and Seth. I mean, those guys are the guys.
well, I love hanging out with my family, but I just am like I'm to the point where it's like, yeah, I just want to come home. I just want to put on my jammies and I want to sit here and I want to play my video games and I want to talk to my friends
That's what I do.
on the game.
Yeah,
I'm not-
exactly.
Because when I get tired of talking to you guys, I can just
We
turn you
leave
off.
the chat. We just closed down
I
Discord.
still love
and
you guys,
poof, you're
but
gone.
I'm just gonna walk away.
The ever popular Sibbies. Well, okay, I'm feeling tired, guys. So love you. Good night. Click.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe it's a disconnect.
Way of saying, all right, guys, I'm tired of you guys, so fuck you, bye.
Right. Pretty much. Yeah.
And I asked
Good
him, I
night.
said,
Sweet
"So does
dreams.
that make me
I'll
a
most
bad
likely
person?"
kill you in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I felt bad because I'm getting more and more that way. Like I just don't want to go hang out with real life people.
Yeah, like I still love hanging out with her when we go see movies or go out to eat,
Yeah.
or the kids, but our kids are teenagers now. Like the youngest is, what is he now, 15, almost 16 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do anything with us. And we're not going to, he's old enough
I'm
now, I
good
don't
with that.
force him, So it's just like, okay. And by the way, Yudfei, she said the whole Xana's Yudfei thing was awesome for me to explore what it was like having a normal dad. I don't know if a normal dad often swings punches and kicks randomly at their children, hoping that they'll block them. But I'm glad it was close.
I mean,
He would do that for
to
training.
spank me, so
Yeah.
I think everyone needs that alone time.
What'd you say, Kishmas? Sorry.
I said mine was afraid to spank me.
Ah,
Oh.
I thought
Mine
you said he
were.
spanked you. I was like, what? Oh, okay.
But yeah, so okay, let's see. Where are we on this damn thing anyway? So headcanon. Yeah, I mean it's everybody does it. It's you have to have it. You have to put that story. You have to put that time into it, and it will change. It will evolve. Because if it doesn't, if it's like anything, if anybody that's wrote a book,
Roaded.
Nice.
did that just to
Nice.
piss Jazz off.
Yes. Good job.
Wrote it. There's a reason every writer that writes something, they go through first, second, third, 15th draft. Things change, cohesion, better ideas come along, that kind of thing. And it's the same thing with us building these stories. It's literally just, and maybe you do need to write it out. Some people do. Some people are just keep it all in their head and let it flow as it goes. Some people make, like points just to help keep their memory jogged. But it's just necessary. You just have to have it,
It allows for cohesion, and it is necessary to keep cohesion when you are creating a story that involves more than just you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then of course, you have to also make that open-ended, and
Yes.
without ruining your own headcanon. So you've still got to, that's why I always say an outline or a general idea is better than like the Ten Commandments, just chiseled in stone and unflexible and bending. Nothing will ever be different than what I originally came up with.
It's good to be flexible in your outline and allow, like I said earlier, if you let your players add in and then do some unexpected crap, you're going to have a better campaign.
Yeah. Well, and things too, like as you go, you learn like, oh crap, this thing I thought about the lore is wrong. Well, if you're going to be, rigid and unbending, you're gonna look kind of dumb because you're gonna stick with that, regardless. Now you might be able to, if it's not like a huge point, you could just be like your character is just completely like stubborn or listens to Alex Jones, whatever. But you've got to be able to rewrite things as you learn new information, as any person should. If you're not able to do that and flex around with that stuff, then flex. I don't know why I keep saying that fucking word over and over again. So
Is somebody feeling flexible?
not at my age. Dude, oh yeah, I had a birthday. I'm 39
Happy
now.
birthday, Ashen.
That's right. And
Yay!
so did Jazz the week before,
Yes.
which we forgot to say that.
Happy
too. Happy
And
birthday,
so
Jazz.
did Strafe.
Hey, wait. Hey,
Yes,
fuck
Drake
that.
had
Oh
a
my
birthday,
gosh.
too. We
Wow.
have 3 Geminis in this house.
We do.
What about Kishmas? Wasn't his
What?
just recently?
His was a while ago.
This
Turned
I'm Aries,
22.
bro. I'm better.
Are we all Gemini? No, we're not all Gemini.
No.
Are we?
I'm Aries.
Yeah, she and Sib's back in.
We're not
I don't
compatible,
know,
okay?
February or something.
Zodiac sign says so. Listen, I study astrology.
How was the steakhouse, Ashen?
Oh my god. Oh.
I saw a picture and you had a content look of glee on your face.
We went to a place. Okay, sorry. This
You got
is
food
worth talking
time.
about. I don't know if you have them wherever you're at. I've never even heard it. And by the way, the name is just stupid. It's called Texas de Brazil. Why there's Texas in it when it's Brazilian food, I don't know.
Because we got a lot of Brazilian folks
same
here in
thing.
Texas. Just saying.
Well, you're one of the biggest states out of Alaska with the most people. You got a lot of everybody. And in fact, actually, if
That's
I remember
right.
right, Houston is the most diverse. Is it Houston?
Yep.
Is the most diverse city in the entire country with like 25%, 25%, 25% of everything.
That's right.
Mhm.
So, but that's completely irrelevant. But anyway, this place apparently it's Brazilian. It's like it's like a Golden Corral, but not for rednecks. Although the people going in there, I don't think they were prepared for that. We knew it was going to be expensive going in because we were warned. Apparently, our boss took his family to it once and about had a heart attack at the $400 bill.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
it's like $55 a plate basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's about like Red Lobster. Then that's about.
Put on
it's
real pants. This ain't
only
Red
without
Lobster.
the lobsters or the red. So what
Yeah.
their salad bar itself had like four, and then in a separate side for soups.
Salad bars are for women.
Oh no,
All
no. This salad bar had different cheeses. It had prosciutto. It had bacon. It
Wow.
had sushi. It had all sorts of great stuff, and I didn't fill up on that.
I
Nothing
stand by
better
my
than
statement.
Epic Steakhouse with the Epic salad bar. Could you get both of them going?
Oh
my
yeah,
goodness.
and this was a
Nirvana.
great salad bar all by itself because it wasn't just salad; it had a lot of other great stuff. And I mean, I can't even go into all of it. It had stuff I didn't palm hearts or something like. I don't even know what it was.
Oh,
Hearts
yes.
of palm.
Hearts of
Palm hearts are so yummy.
They were
but
very.
the great thing about this is they give you a little token, and on one side is red, and on the other side is green. And when you're done with the salad part, you turn it over to red. And this place has 15 to 18 different meats. Some of them are aged 3 weeks. Some of them are lamb, pork chop, pork. They have chicken wrapped in
You're making
bacon.
me hungry. I'm gonna have
They
to eat
have
there.
different sirloins. They have filet mignon. They have, I mean, just whatever. Like I said, 15 different meats, and they're on this giant spike, and they just come around and say, "Eh," and you're like, you look at it, you say, "I would like some of that," and they cut you off a sliver right there, and you have little tongs that you grab off the meat and you put it on your plate. Now it's not a huge bite. It's not like a full steak. It's just like 2 or 3 bites. And then they bring out another one, and they just rotating around the room. And as you want it, and you look at it, you just pick what you want, and they'll cut it off right there, right off the spit that they just grilled it on, and just plop it on your plate.
That
And
sounds
Kishmas?
so delicious.
Kishmas,
Yes.
everything is medium rare.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
just,
They actually tell you that in advance.
Dude.
They-
tickles by banana hammock.
That's my favorite. Yes.
Yeah, they're like, by the way, everything here is medium rare. If that's going to be a problem, let us know, and we can burn it for you. That's not what they said, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, and I.
They could say, it's, all right, everything's medium rare here, guys. And if you want like something well done, you can get the fuck out.
You can go to Sizzler.
Well,
It's kind
I
of like
will
that
say-
one joke I saw. It was like, I'm vegan. What can I get here? And the waiter was like, the fuck out.
The door. I'll get the door for you.
We'll help
but
you
anyway.
with the door. Yeah.
So that's what we did, and I don't know. It's funny enough. It's attached to our mall, our local Woodland Hills Mall, but it's not. It was like $150 for just the two of us, but it was a birthday thing. We were splurging. We don't trust me. We very rarely spend that much. Usually, it's what do you want from McDonald's? Well, I don't really feel like McDonald's. Let's splurge. All right, what do you want from Wendy's? You know,
Oh, I know that feel. I did
You
that.
big spender, you.
right?
Like Whataburger is like
Mhm.
golden,
Oh,
I mean, the orange W in the sky. Then
Yeah, we have a Whataburger here next to a Sonic,
So
next
like,
to a Wendy's.
that, sir, is epic.
so 100% inclusion on the valve.
Across the street from an Arby's.
No, Arby's is trash.
Oh man.
Listen,
Sometimes you
all
gotta
right.
have an Arby's, man.
Sometimes.
I've been working. I were working at Best Buy for 3 years, and in the food court, there's Arby's, Subway, and some shitty pizza place. All right, I went to Arby's for 6 months straight. I am tired of that fucking sandwich
Wait a minute.
shop.
Wait a minute. You have a food court at Best
Yeah.
Buy?
No, it's attached
Oh.
to a mall.
Okay.
She was like,
Oh,
I'm going to that
That's
Best
a
Buy.
fancy Best Buy.
Ours only has electronics. How do you keep everything from having jam
I'm
hands?
so jealous now.
Oh, bro, this is Ithaca. It's not some fucking metropolitan area.
Can I get a game console that's not covered in gravy?
a type from a child's hands. Like, Mom, please buy this for me. Only $299.
Oh,
Jam hands. Anyway, so sorry, but you guys asked. It was actually far better than I thought it would be. I really, really enjoyed it. I had a good birthday. And I hope everybody else had a good birthday too, because if you didn't, you had an unbirthday, and I hope you had a very merry unbirthday.
I got a very special present.
I had a good one. My friends, no one really. I only tell my friends. They know about it, but I don't tell them the day of. And they were sneaking around Wednesday night, the day before my birthday. I normally open the church. They're like, "No, Anthony. Yeah, go ahead and unlock the building. We're busy in the annex." I'm like, "You guys are up to no good." I got in there. They had a cake with happy birthday candles and ice cream.
Oh,
And it
that's
was
cool.
like, "Happy birthday, Anthony," and pizza. And I was like, "Dude, you guys rock." I didn't even think anybody remembered. It was really cool.
That's so weird. Do they not know what your name is?
That's good.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I hope everybody had a good one. Thank you for asking. Thank you for the happy birthdays.
Happy birthday, bro.
I also got a lot of really weird old pictures from when I was a baby, which never happened before. I guess that happens as you get almost to 40. Like, it's just weird. By the way, fashion into the 79 was terrible. It's just awful. I've never seen so much brown suede and denim in my life. And it was only 5 pictures. So, I think we already hit scripted RP and why it basically sucks for everybody, even when you're the writer and all the players involved.
I think we've covered
But
that.
yeah, it's just. I mean, like you can. Kishmis, I heard you say something. Did you disagree with that in some way? I mean,
I disagree with it. I was
No,
just
okay.
talking to you.
I figured you were. Because, I mean, I know we do events, and, like, oftentimes they're, like, an event is scripted, but when you're doing, like, a life-altering thing, and it's just from start to finish, everything has to be, a checklist, that's awful. But, like, when we do events, yeah, they're, like, the gargoyle thing that we've done. It is kind of scripted because I know how it's probably going to go, but how people get there, I don't restrict in any way, shape, and form. And that's the difference. When we call it scripted RP, I don't mean like, I have an idea for something to do.
that kind of touches on Indigo Jules' question.
Exactly. Which
So what would be the answer for, since you guys do that kind of RP, what would be the answer?
well, it's really just like I said, to be just like with your headcanon. You got to be kind of open-minded. Like with these, because they're technically they're missions. So like you're already setting out on a mission. Like you've got to like with Tarvala, she's like, okay, we've got to report that there's this creature that has been killing and maiming Guar in the area, and it recently attacked a Guar. Or not a Guar, a guard.
Guard.
A guard.
Guard.
It recently attacked a guard, which was half human, half Guar.
Guard.
I am not an animal. Kill me! So, they set out looking for something in the area. So, with that in mind, they basically just did. From there, I just like, all right, we teleported to the area. Here's what it's nighttime. There's a few lights on in the windows, but there's no people out and about. So then they went, I didn't tell them what to do. I have no expectations. For all I know, they could have just sat there and picked their nose, which would have been really hard to really roll with. But thankfully, they went and knocked on doors and stuff. And, from there, you just kind of, you role play out what each character might say that's in each house. And at one point, some people would probably roll for it. I just like, well, when would it be like the most dramatic timing? And they heard a screech off in the distance, and then naturally, they being who they are, they ran towards it. But I set them up for this stuff, but I never tell them how they have to do it. It's open ended, and whether they killed it or not, that actually was somewhat up to the rolls. Like if they had rolled, they didn't roll bad, and they did beat it. They beat it. They beat it back, but
Beat it. Oh, sorry.
No one wants to be defeated.
You're just a freak, just silly. I don't even understand you.
Ignorant. It's so ridiculous.
Shimon.
We're so. Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, they beat Billie Jean because it wasn't his lover. It's just a girl who said that I was the one, but. Girl, it's not my son. Anyway, So it was all open ended, and if they had rolled really, really well, they may have actually killed it at that time. But they rolled well enough to defeat it enough that it had to flee. But
And I rolled a 0.
Right. Well, that was later. You actually managed to, on a scale of 1 to 20, roll a 0, which, good for you.
Thank you. I work hard on it.
You did. You're like, I'm going to be rusty. -1. 1. Shit.
Roll the fucking 1. What a piece of shit.
You weren't kidding when you said he was rusty, were you?
No,
He was like redheaded stepchild rusty. Yeah. Named Rusty. But yeah, that's what I meant with that, Jet. As opposed to if it was it doesn't happen as much, but you've seen it too, Jazz. I know you've seen a few people that it's so scripted that they'll basically like drag the characters by the nose, like you should, and this character, you should go check out over here. And this, they basically drag them around by the nose, or they almost tell it in such a story form that they're actually just saying what the characters are doing, which is not something you should do.
Yeah.
And that's really the big difference between a script, because you can have I guess you would say there's 3 forms. There's a scripted IP, which is terrible. There's, general ID roleplay, and then there's just free form, which like, hey, we're out in the thing. How's it going? Just some random thing for no reason at all. You just bump into somebody. But that's what I would mean by scripted RP. Is that, I think that makes sense. Did I say it right? I don't know.
I think so.
Still good. Okay, so including others in your headcanon, the do's and don'ts. I put a few of each on this. We'll start with the don'ts. As we said, spill your guts on the first time you meet somebody.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't sit there in the middle of an event and tell your life freaking story.
Oh, that's even worse.
Don't do that. Please, God, don't do that. Nobody cares about your life story in a group event. Don't go into long detail about it, because you're just going to irritate everyone.
And if people are
especially
interested,
if
you can bring it up after the fact.
Yes.
Yeah, go sit at like at the Abbey.
Or a tavern, or wherever your guild hall is.
Go to the kitchen area. Go sit down somewhere, have a drink, tell your life story. Then
find the person that might have been interested in it, or if they're really interested, they may even come up. I'll do that if someone says something. I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of neat. I'm curious about that. I'll go to them after the fact. I don't stop like, hold on. Vampires, you can wait a minute. So tell me about your mother. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
My father was turned by a vampire. Oh, really?
I'm the roleplay Fraser Crane. I'm listening.
Exactly. I'm listening.
But yeah, during an event, I totally agree with that, Jazz. Don't do it. Because
just don't do it.
Don't do
there's
it.
enough going on that people have to focus on. They don't need to focus on, trying to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too hard on everyone to do it that way. And it's forcing, it's stealing the show in a manner of speaking, because
a little bit, yeah, you could say that.
You're making it about you instead of about the event.
You guys don't want to hear all about my character and how awesome she is?
So anyway, the next one is never...
But wait, she can swing a sword.
Oh, interesting.
She's got tusks.
Wow.
She's got an Argonian friend.
And she also has the gum disease known as gingivitis. Yeah, well, that's my headcanon. She's got gingivitis now. There's another good one. Don't make headcanon for other characters that's not there.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a misconception, like, that's one thing, but don't make up things for other people, I guess, especially without asking their permission first and putting
if it is
into
their
play.
Character, it is not yours.
Exactly.
Yep.
Don't go stealing somebody's, character.
That's why nobody will play as Raj's kids.
Exactly.
Well,
Because
we totally understand it.
Yeah, I definitely get it. Never tell anyone ever. I don't know what I was meaning with that one. Oh, that's probably no, I don't know. I have no idea. Make it. I don't know why I put make it non-lore compliant. Make it lore compliant.
I think you were saying to never tell anyone your headcanon ever.
Yeah.
To keep it all to yourself and your character's just this big
that's what I meant.
mystery.
Yeah, don't.
I think that's what you meant.
Yeah, because I forgot to put "don't" at the beginning of everything. Don't ever, don't never tell anyone. So, like, if you've got all that stuff, you got to spill it. You don't have to do it all at once, but you got to let it go. Because if you hold on to it like we said, if you hold on to it so tightly, it's just your character's just boring. You know, it's this. You never part of it's human nature. Okay, it's to take it to a real world example. Every time there's some weird, like, serial killer or anybody that does something that's just monumentally insane, what's the first thing news media and people and everybody wants to know? What was their motivation?
Yeah.
We just instinctively, we always are trying to understand other human beings and their thought processes because, I mean, nobody thinks the same, ever, clearly. You know, but when somebody goes so far out of that, you always want to know. So, you know, if you never tell anybody everything or anything, then after a while, it's just the same thing. If you never sometimes, you know, at least with that example with crazy people, there may not even actually be, there's no human logic, you know, what it made sense in their head, you know, because they rub soup in their hair at the stroke of midnight on the full bloom on the 2nd of May,
sometimes
2:22 in the morning. I don't know, you know, whatever.
Sometimes as simple as negative attention is better than no attention at all. If they're really like that isolated and they want to do something ridiculous, they'll do something super ridiculous just so they have that attention. I mean, that happens with kids a lot, right?
Exactly.
Oh, no, it does. Exactly.
Yeah. And just a quick shout out for you, TK Dean. Wow, appreciate you staying up till 3 a.m. just to listen to us to this far.
Yes, thank you for
Go to
joining
bed.
us.
For the love of God, we're not worth it.
We're totally
I don't know
worth it,
about
man.
you guys,
All right,
But-
Strafe's not
but
worth it.
I'm
I'm
worth
worth
it.
it. See how I said that over her?
Oh.
But
wait a minute. Hold on.
hold on.
I'm worth it.
There we go.
Jessica.
I'm worth it too.
No, you're not.
Why does nobody love me?
Ugh.
So, also, don't make it, you know, non-lore compliant. So, obviously, if you've got all this headcanon and you're, you know, let's see something. You're the, I don't know, for example, you're the Dragonborn in Elder Scrolls, yet the Dragonborn doesn't come around for another 1,000 years, or you're the chosen one of whatever you're playing that stuff, and all that stuff, it's basically not lore compliant. You're not the chosen one. At the best, you're just a really strong adventurer or something like that. All our characters are a cut above the rest. They're not farmers unless you play a farmer. But when it comes to combat stuff, they're not all powerful. They're not, on the same level as Vivek or the what's the Warrior of Light in Final Fantasy XIV, or I think the only one that really works are the bee people in Secret World Legends, because that's literally how. And it also, the story wise, there's not only just you. There's
I'm
tons
so
of people.
disappointed in that game.
Well, even Cloud from Final Fantasy VII was a nobody from a little town, little nothing town.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Until he got his memory switched up, and then it just got really convoluted, but ended with an awesome fight scene. Also, Tifa
Yes, it
boobs.
did. Tifa boobs.
That's right. Don't play out entire scenes that could be RP'd out in the game in your head. That I think is actually a pretty big one, because I've seen people that they do these massive jumps in their characters' personality and things, but given some things just may not be able to happen on screen, but what can be done should be done, and with other people. I mean, that including other people in that stuff is good. Again, and we're trying to, at the same time, we're also saying, don't make it all about you. But sometimes
But I want it to be.
Right, but there are certain storylines you can actually get away with. But the thing is, like, say for like Kishmas in the Servants Guild, they have the events every, people put up like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And for the most part, that's all guild oriented. But, that's never used as somebody like, all right, well, I'm going to do this, and this whole story arc is just about me, and everybody gets to play along. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that, have they?
Oh, I have.
Well, I was talking about in Servants, because they, recently,
yeah.
I don't, and I'm sure it probably has happened, but it seems like it's pretty rare. Apparently
Sorry,
not as rare
Kishmas,
as I thought it was.
Isn't an answer.
Yeah.
But for the most part, all the storylines, the things I participate in, and there are some things that they're character oriented because they're supposed to be like, for the clergy, they do those pilgrimages and things like that. That is specifically for that player to, get promoted. Or in the ordination, they'll have individuals, they'll do their mastery and their things like that. And that's stuff that's purposely geared towards just that one player. But it's not started from that player. That's just how the guild mechanics work. That's how all that stuff goes on. So, that is a little bit different. But if you have all this great stuff and you want to do like a huge character development thing, really just do what you can to get other people involved or interested or, mention it. But if everything evolves in your character off screen, after a while it becomes as jarring as, people that are like, oh, I was horribly injured off screen, I need healing, but the healing part's the most boring part of it for the most people. The story that led up to how you got your ass beat, that's probably something that you could do a role play on, All right, good chat.
I fully agree. Sorry, I thought somebody was going to say something.
I did too. I was waiting for somebody to say something.
Those are the small moments will build a bigger RP, so it's important, even the small stuff. Share it. Oh, hey, my character, I would this when I grew up. In fact, we left something at this farmhouse. Let's go on an adventure and get it.
Yeah, something. Just,
anything, yeah.
So let's go to, before we wrap up here, we're going to go a little late, but with all that shit we had to cut out, we'll basically be on time on the podcast. So if you're listening to that, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm back.
We'll end on the good
Welcome
note
back.
of the things you should do, and that is do let it out in pieces and as situations arise from it. Like we've been saying. If the situation comes up, if someone shows interest, take it. Take the hand out, Or the hand up, if you prefer. I don't know.
Or leg up, whatever.
Leg up, whatever. Put your
works,
armpit
yes.
up. I think we're all getting tired. That shit earlier wore us all out.
Yeah, I
Stressed
did.
me to shit. Stressed my shit out.
That's pretty
Also,
stressful.
things I don't ever need. Nobody should have to see it. I apologize for everybody that actually had to see that shit that they were posting in our Discord. It's unfortunately one of those things we're learning as we go, and we don't know how to keep everybody up. So
Raiders are Raiders, bro.
but also do leave room to explore with other RPers. Like we were saying.
No!
Okay, or not. That's an option. That's
All about the me.
that's all right.
All about
It's
the
all
me.
about the me. Somebody's been playing Nintendo Wii.
Playing with some.
Making a me. Which, by the way, is just a stupid thing. Sorry. So, like you said, leave room to explore with other people. If you can include people, man. It's everybody that role plays, they're there for the same exact reason you are. They're often probably just as shy. They're often probably just as like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's, I did that roleplay event, which consisted of, I think I mentioned it, but it consisted of nothing but talking. There was no combat. There was nothing in there. And it was just after the Somerset had dropped. Even I was nervous about it because there was, it wasn't the usual stuff. They were all just going in there to ask questions about some NPC nerd about gargoyles. And I was nervous about it, but it was, it wasn't to focus on me or anything. It was just to help get a story moving along as, step by step as they tend to need to be. And
Case.
it seemed like everyone had a good time. I expected it to be like 45 minutes, an hour tops. It was like an hour and 45 minutes. So, and it was only like that because they kept asking questions and trying different things, which I was totally cool with.
Good case for that recently. Case walked into the Guildhall bar, and you had Voley and Trath, trying to chat each other up. He said, "I have this thing to do. Would you like to accompany me, Voley?" And we totally dropped what we're going to do so we could help him further his story along. It was a small thing, but it was still fun, and it progresses his story over. It gives our characters something to talk about.
Mhm.
So it's important to see those little moments and be like, "Hey, man, let's go do that. It could be fun."
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Because we've been RPing with him on the storyline for a while now.
For how
Yeah,
long?
and it's
is
advanced.
a while?
I
It's
don't know
advanced
how
quite
long.
a while.
Yeah,
Teasing.
but it's been a while.
How long is a while? A
5
while.
days.
Couple months, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So with anybody have like I was saying, we have on here success stories, but there's nothing written under it. Does anybody have a success story?
Well,
No success.
Well, the way I developed Rogier is that no one knew who he was for months on end. When he even had friends, he was just kind of like in the twilight. Sorry about that.
That's right. That was kind of funny. Sounded like they were really energetic
Yeah, that guy
about your
was into
story.
it.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I wonder what he was watching.
But no, it's just kind of gradually opening up to certain people, and sometimes even slipping when he used to get drunk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But in a nutshell, when I posted his biography on the site, I didn't put any backstory. I put his basic information and just basic stuff, and I RP'd the rest out.
Mm-hmm.
And as I RP'd the rest out, I'd add things to the biography. Whoops.
And that was the day Kishmas died.
Yes. But that's pretty much it. I really don't have anything else to say about that.
No, I agree with that totally too. If you start out with just a basic outline, it leaves you room to grow.
Yeah, you can really
Leaves,
feel. You make the bare bones, and then you put meat on it after the through the role play.
I mean, did you ever think that Raj would end up commander of the Abbey?
No.
See, I mean, that's.
I was against it. What are you talking about?
Even when he got it, he was like, "I really don't want to do this."
But I mean,
No, I
no, it's
I was
like
talking
you never saw it
to
coming.
Ashton
But
about it. I'm like, oh fuck, I can't believe this is happening.
Mm-hmm. He's like, damn it. But he's done
I'm
really,
sorry.
and it's one of those things because it's the reluctant leader thing. Those that always, and I'll be honest, even in roleplay, those that are always constantly seeking power, either in character or OOC, tend to be the ones that are often the worst with it. It's just like in real leadership. It's always the reluctant leaders, the people that
really
take
is.
it because they don't want it,
Mhm.
but
Well,
they know they
bring-
can do a decent job
Bring
at
that
it.
up in the politics episode, then we can go off.
Right. Yeah. It's the difference between, the people that spend billions of dollars these days and someone like George Washington, who was basically begged to come back and be like, please, we'll even make you king. It's like, no, what do we just fight this war for, you dumbass? We'll have to vote for it, we'll do the presidents. Are you just that stupid you trade one king for another? You need that kind of a guy.
He was ambitious
those are
to
always
get
the
off
best.
ship, but other than that, he was
Right.
unwilling.
Yeah. I think the quote was, have I not already done enough for my country? Like, I just want to sit here and make beer. Delicious, delicious beer.
Okay, I have to say, Raj's would be. I just want to sit here and make babies.
Oh my god.
He is
Right?
popping those
Right?
things out, man. Oof.
Second one. What are you talking about?
He's a
I'm not
baby making
having-
machine.
Oh my
yeah.
Put on that,
Bam.
put on that
I'm
careless
playing.
whisper, Raj
I'm
getting down.
playing.
You guys are impossible.
Da-na-na, 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 da-na-na,
I will.
da-na-na.
If you want me to screenshot all that shit, I will. And I'll send it.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
But
All right, so just jazz. Okay.
it's just
Save
Jazz
it
would
for
she
the
would
ERP
totally.
episode.
She loves
Save
the
it for
fan.
ERP.
She loves a good fan fiction. Yeah.
I do. That is very true.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've got several. Tarval, I think, has done pretty well because she's got her background. She's had her abuses in the past, and it still comes up every now and again. When it's relevant. She's slowly getting better and better about putting it all behind her, but sometimes those things just don't go away, and and it's kind of like a victim thing. If the way verbal abuse she took can help somebody out in their current predicament, she'll tell the story so that she can try to be like, see, I understand where you're coming from, and this is how I got over it. Maybe this will help you. And that's the kind of person she turns out that she is. That or she's, just really likes to talk about herself. I'm not sure, could be either one. But Xanis, 10-year-old character, that's probably pretty all right. But he evolved a great deal over a very long period of time. So that was, it's and then he ended up, like we said, meeting Yoon Fei, and she, becoming basically a father when he had no kids of his own, really, until much, much later, it turns out. But, even that was kind of a retroactive rewrite.
I do love the fact that you punched both my early tunes in the face.
That is true. It is becoming somewhat of a tradition.
That's a success
I kinda love
story.
it.
Yeah,
It is.
it wasn't intentional. It just felt like that with him being the snot he was both times. That
I know the
bam.
tune's going to make it if I got my punch in the face from Ashton's character.
That's right. Yeah, and who knows? They might actually in this one. They may actually end up being friends. It's possible because they won't have a deep-seated hatred and rivalry constantly.
You know what?
Oh, yeah,
You know what? Tarval is a female and Kizdan's a male. They could be more
Yeah,
than
She's a
friends.
babe. They were just talking
You like
about
careless,
talking about that with-
careless, puts the careless whisper on.
Mhm.
He's like, what do you think about the y'all kids? And kids goes, I'm trying not to think about people who can cave my head in with a fist.
I mean, all Raj wants is for his beloved sister to dress nicely and not show her tits all the time.
Well, it's not. It's
Wait a
not.
minute.
She looks
Who's
good.
his sister?
Tarvala. They're like brother and sister. Yeah, the other day she was wearing that revealing shirt that
The boob
showed a lot of her
window?
boob. No, it was more of a boob panoramic view. And he dressed her down and made her feel like she was being slutty, and she got pissed off and he was like, "Screw you for making me feel bad. I look good." She got all
And
indignant at him.
Zasher probably would have been, yes, you do. I mean, no.
No, you
No,
don't.
I didn't say that outside.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No.
Jess's
Like,
character's.
that.
You want to die, recruit?
It is
Yeah.
ironic that the female Jazz's character keeps looking at the male Ashen's female character's chest, which is it's a weird dichotomy we've
what
created
an
there.
interest.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, a few more Twinkies and I'll catch up to Tarvala in real life too. So. I'll be wearing my man's ear before you know it.
He won't need me anymore.
That's true. No, you still pick me up some nugs every now and then, so that's good.
Hugs for nugs.
That's right. Nugging for hugging.
That's right.
All right. So anybody else have something, and before we shut this down.
Well, I think the biggest success story that we had was the Watcher. The end of it, of course, ended up with Xanis dying.
Yeah, overall.
That
Ringos
that-
was singing and dancing in Neriak. What? Oh, yeah, it was tragic. It was horrible.
Oh, it was, I sent his family a hand. What? His family's completely wiped out. I don't know where that ham went.
Yeah, and we had several large role plays that worked really well. One was the destruction of the guild hall. We did that twice.
Yeah, you could say that's more than once. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
had
we
a
did
good,
that twice.
There was
Yeah,
decent reasons for that to happen.
yeah.
It wasn't
we had
just
a story. It made sense.
a gimmick.
And, yeah, and we were like, well, why don't we do this, and then we can do the first time we destroyed the hall, we actually built, because in EQ you could do this
Very well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we actually had a guy, because what you would do is you would load a new setting, put everything away, and then put everything into the guild hall, save that setting, and then reload the old setting.
Yeah.
And as long as you didn't take everything out of storage, it all just went back the way it was
just went-
before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a really
So-
cool feature.
Yeah, so he would wait. Logan did it with Who else did it? Was it you?
Logan
Ren?
Paul.
No, not that
No,
Logan.
different Logan. His actual name is Logan. He was our wolf. He was Greiger.
Yeah, he thought he was a wolf. What a dirtbag that guy.
Right?
Stop.
Man.
Anyway, he would wait till everybody was gone and nobody was on because he was at the time he was working really weird hours or whatever. So he was
which for that guild, by the way, had to be between only the hours of 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. because everybody was on until fucking 4 a.m.
We had some wild. Anyway, so he destroyed the guild hall and built it up over a period of time, and most people didn't know about it. Only the officers did. And then when it came time to actually destroy the guild hall and the roleplay played itself out, he said he sends a tell to me, and he's like, now? And I'm like, now. And so then he reloaded the destroyed guild hall and put everything in there, and it looked, I still have pictures on my hard drive.
It looked
so
desolate.
Awesome. It looked destroyed because the hall fell in on itself. So it was absolutely amazing. And I have to say, we had, the whole crew was there. So it was about 30 people that were taking part in the battle. And then we had NPCs, and some people were DMing the NPCs as well as their own characters so that we could have a lot more people there.
Yeah, and
so it was a lot of fun.
You could
really
actually put dummy character. You can make things look like characters, but even though they were NPC dummies, basically, which was really nice thing.
Yeah, and Gormel got buried in the dungeon. Triton had the whole guild hall fall on him and live. That's how awesome he was. Barely, but he survived.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'd say of my success stories, that was one of our biggest ones.
Yeah. Another note of a big event that everybody could branch off for their own RP from.
It created a lot of roleplay.
We had so much roleplay spawn from that. Everybody had to deal with the fact that their guild hall had exploded, that we had people buried in the rubble that had to be rescued. We had to have
freaking out. Dig out Triton. And Triton sitting there like eating a ham sandwich. Like, hey guys, how's it going?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
The roof fell on you. I know. It was cool.
He was chewing the air, Straffe.
I know. It was air sandwich.
But actually, you know, Des, when you said that one thing, the reason I consider Xanis a success, and you know, maybe this is a little, you know, humble brag. When we did the role play where he died off with the Phoenixes and all that and the Watcher, the number of people that said that they were real life crying.
Oh yeah, we all were.
Which was one of them was you, right?
Yeah.
That made me realize that made me feel like you weren't because you're a soulless monster. But you know,
my twin was
when people were crying because my character was leaving the game and in character killed off. I mean, that was about as successful as you could hope for as a send off on your own character that you'd been working on for 10 years. And that was like, all right, you know, I felt good with it. I was ready to move on. I mean, we did come back for a short time, which was probably ill-advised, but it was fun. Even that was pretty fun for a short period of time.
Because Ren was happy, but I was like, I have no more rival.
Yeah,
you're Tilder, and me and Tilder are kind of uniting. It's like I have no more adversaries.
It'd be like if the Joker killed off Batman, and he'd be like, "Well, now what the fuck do I do?"
Exactly. That's what
yeah, that's exactly what it was.
He's just aimlessly, and then he became a good guy because of it, because he had nothing bad to focus on. It just ruined your character.
The prophecy that Ashen laid down when he was talking to Valkyrina, saying, "Yeah, I used to be like that. Eventually, he'll grow, he'll change."
Yep.
And he did. I was like, "No."
Son of a bitch. Yeah,
it actually worked out.
That's probably the biggest success. So, well, if we got nothing else, I guess we could start shutting this down now.
Yeah, I'd say we're in a good spot.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody listening. Of course.
Yes, thank you.
For those on the podcast that probably noticed a giant weird-ass skip right in the middle of the episode, that was due to trolls putting up horribly graphic pictures, and we learned a lot of things about apparently text-to-speech, and they were putting in some pretty nasty stuff.
Yes.
That I'm not even going to bother repeating because
we are so sorry.
I apologize to everybody that actually had to see some of the shit that they were posting up. Trust me, I'm no happier about it than you are, because I have a horrible imagination and memory for things like that, and it's probably something I'm going to see when I close my eyes tonight, and I do sincerely apologize, but fortunately there's not much we can do to prevent assholes from finding it randomly on the internet. And there's just some really, really bad, ugly, nasty people out there that have really nothing better to do. So
Don't let the trolls win and
Yeah.
think of other things. That's all you can do.
I sincerely apologize on behalf of everybody here at RPM Radio. So appreciate you guys being patient with us, and love you for it. So with that, appreciate, again, everybody calling, or that tried to call in. What was that, Buddhist, Reformed Buddhist? Sorry, man, that scared you off. I understand it. Don't worry about it. Still glad to have you. Thank you also, Wakachoto, for the 300 bits, and of course, Yudfei for the subscription, TK Dean for following, and Bathrobe Dwayne Tryhard1 for following as well. Over at twitch.tv/RPM Radio. You too.
Best part, Action.
Can do that. What's that?
The best part is Wacky Choto's a halfling, and he's donating.
I'll take it. I'll take any money I can
That
get.
is so funny.
Don't worry,
That's
we'll launder it
awesome.
first.
As long
So
as he's not giving Jum.
that's right. So
You're
appreciate
done.
everybody. Glad you could join us. Join us next week, Saturday, 7 Central Time, twitch.tv/RPM Radio, when you can tune in to listen for halflings and why they should have their heads hit by cannons. Next time on RPM Radio. Good night, everybody. The thoughts and opinions of those on RPM Radio and their crew are just that, and should not be taken as the gospel truth, but pretty close to it. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great video game rock covers and original music.